If you take a look at a classroom today, it's just like the classroom of 50 years ago, and even like the classroom of 100 years ago. Old methods of teaching just are not effective for the 21st century. Today we need a moonshot in education, something that's going to change education dramatically. In 1984, I came to Palo Alto High School. They hired me as an English journalism teacher. The first thing I did at that point was, do what they tell me to do. Here's a textbook, here are the quizzes you're supposed to use, and here's the class. And now you go ahead and teach. I heard like little snide remarks here and there. It's like, oh, that was boring. Oh, this is not very exciting. And I was thinking to myself, well, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be like. So, maybe I should quit. I thought to myself, I'm a journalist, and I didn't learn to be a journalist by reading a book about how to be a journalist. I learned to be a journalist by actually doing it. And so I thought, well, why don't they do the same thing? And so I decided throwing away the book was safer. And so I threw away the book, and no one noticed. I developed the curriculum myself. It was like, here's a newspaper, we're going to read the newspaper today, and now you're going to try to figure out how did they write those news stories? What's the structure of a news story? Well, I'm sure your parents will like this. It's about original sin. I had them copy the style, only they had to go out and get news or go out and write a feature. And they liked it.
You're not going to really learn how to use InDesign or Photoshop or write a good story or go out and get quotes by somebody telling you how to do it. You have to go and experience these things and use your own failures in terms of making yourself better.
Today we have 1,500 students, and of that 600 kids are taking the program. It's an elective program. So something important is attracting them, and what is attracting them, I think, is the opportunity to own their education and to work with their groups in peer education. This type of learning can be called blended learning. It's a new name, but the system has existed for a long time, and blended learning basically is a combination of technology and traditional methods that support teaching in the classroom. Okay, that's good. So for example, a teacher would spend maybe 50% of the time lecturing.
Anyone that's trying to talk to her, she's not interested in.
And then the other 50% of the time, the student would actually be able to do some work on their own, using some electronic device to support them in the learning.
We are very in tune with new technologies, like we do live blogging, we do Storify. Being on the cutting edge of a lot of new technology has allowed us to feel comfortable and innovative.
I remember how I felt when I first did journalism. The incredible rush that I got out of it, it really set my mind afire. I love being able to bring that same experience to students.
I'm going to be listening to those conversations, so please attend to these things.
I know that once they take the leap and they start conducting interviews and bringing that data back and bringing the photos back, that they're going to catch the spirit as well.
These kids, the main thing they get out of this is they feel good about themselves and they know how to learn. So they can teach themselves anything that they want to learn, because the skills I'm teaching as a journalist or journalism is how to get that information. You're the first person to get the information. How to take that information and figure out what's most important, and how to write it up, and how to collaborate. Those are skills you need for life. Those aren't just skills you need to be a journalist. I just think journalists happen to have the skills that I'm trying to teach. We have 9 different media programs here at Palo Alto High School, the oldest being Campanile, started in 1918, and the newest being the radio program, started just this year.
Our paper has 3 sections, and we have about 60 to 80 people on staff per year. I've definitely become a less timid person. I now know how to back up my views and kind of express myself in a very clear way.
The C magazine is kind of a model off of the T magazine for the New York Times. There's 5 of us who really run the show. The teachers really aren't involved, and so we're in charge of everything. Every staff member on the magazine has to go out and sell ads to help fund our magazine.
Today we're doing story ideas for our next edition of the Campanile. I'm going to talk about why there's a negative stigma towards hard work at our school.
It's really great. It's so much different than every other class I take at Pali, simply because there's no one telling us what to do. There's no guidance.
Express both sides of that and maybe
it's just really exciting to do something for yourself and something that you know your peers are going to read.
I'm one of the staff writers for CMAG, and I also write for Agora, and I'm the founder of Haven, which is our newest publication.
Being able to work with students can help you with collaboration later in your years, and I feel like being able to interview other people, I've gotten better at my speaking skills.
We have to just approach random businesses, walk up to them and say, hey, and basically give our whole sales pitch in 5 minutes without knowing them at all. And this training, you get rejected so many times that you build a lot of skills through rejection, and you learn what works and what doesn't.
I'm the managing editor of the Pali Voice, which is the 24/7 online news publication. We really try to emulate journalism in the real world. So this week Barack Obama is coming to speak at Stanford, and so just yesterday I emailed the White House and had a request for getting a press pass for when Air Force One lands in San Francisco.
I work for The Viking, which is the sports magazine here on campus, and I love sports, which is why I joined the magazine. We cover sports on campus, we cover sports from around the Bay Area. I've also learned a whole lot about leadership and what motivates people and what doesn't.
We got together and we started Pali Radio Club. It was exciting because most other schools probably wouldn't let someone just start their own publication. Here at Palo Alto High School, we're encouraged to explore what we want to do and kind of to experiment.
I love reading what other people are writing, giving them feedback and helping them strengthen what they have.
We also do a live broadcast, so that's a really good experience for the kids because anything can happen.
And dissolve mic and cue.
Hey Pali, welcome to In Focus. I'm Cairo Kim. And I'm Jacqueline Furrier.
I think what makes this one of the best programs in the country is that we really try to emulate the real world.
Balance, you know? We're not doing Saturday Night
I tell the students all the time, we do it the way they do it in the real world. I said, when you come into this classroom, I don't want you to think like you're coming to school or you're coming to classroom. I want you to think you're coming to work.
Yeah, there's so many great lessons in here.
I hear anecdotally that students in journalism who are in journalism classes, when they leave, go out and do much better in other classes. They write with a clearer vision when they go to their English classes, and in social studies classes they're more able to participate. We want people to be able to go off and engage with the world, and we produce students who do that.
Journalism has helped me become a more provocative thinker.
If you had a little chunk for each person.
It's sort of extended into other regions of my life, so academically, I feel like I take more risks too in my English class or my history class.
Some schools have been studied that engage students in project-based learning like this around real-world tasks and real-world assessments where you have to meet a standard. And the findings have been that not only do they go to college typically at higher rates, even if they are from low-income communities and otherwise communities that might not attend, but they graduate at rates almost twice as high as students who have not had this kind of education. And the reason is that the kids say, I was ready. I knew how to handle myself, I knew how to learn on my own, to do this kind of work where I take the driver's seat and I have to set my own goals and perceive them.
That's cool. We don't teach journalism so that students go on to become journalists. We teach it because it gives them, it carries with them a powerful set of tools that if they can, once they grasp and start using, will improve their skills, their job skills for the rest of their lives.
I think communication skills are important in basically any career you go into. For me personally, I'm interested in working for the State Department, and so they deal a lot with the press and all that sort of stuff, and communicating things is really important, of course.
I have a lot of kids that started out actually failing in other schools who have come to the program and who have gone on to really successful careers at four-year colleges. That's a nice graphic.
Thank you.
There's nothing more rewarding than to help somebody lead a good life.
I graduated from Palo in 1999.
These kids come back years later and say that the most important thing that they learned in the program was that they can do anything that they want to do, no matter what it is. For example, James Franco, who is now a well-known actor and celebrity, was my former student. And one of the things that he said was that I believed in him and thought he could do whatever he wanted to do, and thus he believed in himself. So James decided, in addition to being a director, an actor, he also wants to be an artist. And the same philosophy is just going on throughout his life. So now he's trying art. And he painted, I don't know, 14 or 15 very large canvases for the school. If all kids could have some kind of experience in high school where they actually do something which they personally consider valuable and which society also values so that they can get a job, that would make a big difference.
I was born with bad knees, and so I couldn't play sports, and so taking a camera up and photographing all these, moments in history at Palo Alto High was incredible. Thanks to this program, I'm now a photo editor and photographer for USA Today Sports Images.
Working on the high school newspaper really shaped the rest of my life. It was giving me kind of life training for how to think for myself and also to create something and put it out in public. I think that was really the biggest deal for me.
What I'm proposing is that we change the culture of the classroom. That means that the teacher has to see his or her role in a different light. Some of the control of learning has to shift to the student. And that is very difficult for most teachers because that's not how they were taught. That's not how the schools of education educate them. And so it requires a moonshot for them to be able to make this change in the classroom and give students some control of their learning.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is a call to action for teachers, administrators, parents everywhere. So I wrote this book called Moonshots in Education, Launching Blended Learning in the Classroom. And the purpose of the book is to try to help teachers and administrators everywhere implement this style of education. It means a lot to me to be able to have a positive impact on the lives of so many kids and to give them the skills they need to lead really happy, productive lives. Yeah, so you need a
When I step back, it is very cool to think that I have the ability to make something and I can help other people make things too. Because I think that it's really important for teenagers to be able to make something that they're proud of, whether that's a podcast or an article about a topic they really wanted to write about.
For me and for many others in this program, it has given us a voice, an opportunity to express our opinions, and the courage to go out into the professional world and use all these amazing skills that we have learned.
The greatest compliment I could get from schools around the country or educators around the country is that they might want to do the same thing, and that they might want to also offer their students a program like this that can also build their self-esteem, the students' self-esteem, and make them feel like they too can accomplish whatever they want in the world.